Let's go to the Steelers. I will mention a very, very distant fourth favorite to win this division. Ryan, right now you have them taking a wide receiver and Treylon Burks in the draft, your latest mock draft, CBSSports.com. But what move or under the radar move have they made in free agency like?
I'm going with James Daniel, the interior offensive lineman out of Chicago. They signed him to the biggest free agency deal in Steelers history, so maybe that doesn't sound very underrated, but he plays along the offensive line. Not a lot of folks outside of Chicago know about him, and he's a huge upgrade to what they struggled with last year. 2018, he was a second-round pick. He plays left guard. He can play right guard. He played some center early in his career in Chicago and at Iowa, where he went to college. And if you watch any Steelers games last year, your biggest takeaway had to be that Roethlisberger probably should retire after the year, in part because no one could protect him. He was running for his life as much as he could run. The running game struggled. Najee Harris still had the season he had. But if you bring in someone like James Daniel, you can sort out the center position, and they signed Mason Cole to hopefully do that as well, get some guys back healthy. Now you have something here. They could draft a guy or two in the second round if they so desired to help the offensive line as well. But I think James Daniel, who was one of the most coveted of the offensive linemen to hit free agency, for him to land in Pittsburgh is a huge get for them and a huge get for Mitch Trubisky, their new quarterback.
Well, my underrated signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's transition to the defensive side. Myles Jack. I love this move for multiple reasons. But number one, the main reason why I love this move, guys, is because hopefully he can jumpstart Devin Bush Jr. to getting back to the player that we saw before the injury during his rookie campaign. I do believe both players will coexist nicely in this defense. Three-down linebacker, a tackling machine. He's a guy that's very, very athletic. And if you go back and you look at some of the more dominating, consistent defenses that we've seen in Steelers history, they've had two outstanding inside linebackers that played nicely alongside each other. I believe this will be a huge year for Myles Jack, and I think he can potentially jumpstart Devin Bush Jr. to getting back to the player that we saw before that injury. And if that happens, look out, John Breach, Cincinnati. Look out, Cleveland. Look out, Baltimore. Yeah, a lot of people will be crying this year if that happens, including you again, John. I'm sorry, but you can cry me a river. Shout out to Justin Timberlake.
John, do you need to say anything, or are we just going to let that go?
Well, unless the Steelers are going to trade for another quarterback, I'm not really too worried about Pittsburgh winning that division.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.